Hi everyone, David Aragona and Mike Beer here taking a look at one of the undercard races on Travers Saturday, but this race takes second billing to no one because it might have the best horse racing on the entire Travers Day card. That, of course, is the H. Allen Jerkens Grade 1 affair going as a race 8, the 7 furlong distance for the 3-year-olds on the dirt. And Mike, the number 4 Englishman is going to be a heavy favorite in this race, rightly so, coming off his 115 buyer victory in the Woody Stephens last time out. I think he's a horse that a lot of people are excited to see running this Saturday.
Yeah, this might not be the greatest betting race on the card, but yeah, I think a lot of eyes will be on this race just to see what Englishman does here off the back of his Woody Stephens here back in June, where he put on quite a show that day. They could only round up 5 to run against him, and I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, and 2 of the 5 running against him are horses that probably hustled into this race. They are not exactly graded stakes quality, so really 4 main contenders in here. We're going to go through all of them. Let's begin our conversation with the number 1, Stickupwithoutagun. He is one of the huge long shots in this race who looks a little overmatched, to say the least, on paper. He's a horse who has done pretty well in New York bred company. I know he disappointed in races like the Mike Lee and New York Derby, but got back on track in a starter optional claimer last time. First off the claim here for Ilkay Kentramachi, who has done well off the claim at this meet, but this is a Herculean task for a horse like this, Mike.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they probably got hustled in here. This is, a horse, though, who was claimed last time by Sandy Goldfarb and Kentramachi. They could do pretty well with this horse, but they're probably not contenders in here.
Number 2, Deep Flame, is one of the more intriguing new faces taking on Englishman in this race because he's looked pretty good and he's developed pretty quickly for the Brad Cox barn, a horse who was fancied on debut at Fairgrounds this winter, wasn't able to get the job done that day after having a little trouble at the start. But since then, he has run 3 excellent races in a row, narrowly beaten in his second start, and then he broke his maiden in emphatic fashion at Churchill Downs, came right back and won the Grade 3 Maxfield off that victory, improving once again up to a 103 buyer, not facing a field that was quite as tough as the Woody Stephens field that Englishman beat, but I mean, still, Deep Flame looked good in victory, and he's a horse who does have good tactical speed, and that's kind of one of the things you have to grapple with when you handicap this race, Mike, is how are these horses, the 2, 3, and 5, going to play it with Englishman possessing so much natural speed? Does Deep Flame take back, sit in the pocket, try to challenge Englishman early? What's the best way to beat the favorite with a horse like this?
There probably are no good options when you're running against Englishman, but I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know. You can't. I guess you could maybe think you're going to outrun him to the lead there and try to make Englishman track you from the outside. But I don't know how they're going to be able to do that here. Everybody's up against the favorite in this race. I'll just say, as far as Deep Flame goes, his last 2 races are good. I know that he was only second best in his first 2 starts. As it turns out, the 2 horses that beat him have both turned out to be pretty good. And this horse has definitely gotten better since then. His last race, it wasn't against a horse like Englishman, or probably even the 3 and the 5 in this race. He was good last time, man, and that was a fast race.
Yeah, it's not like there were bad horses behind him. I think the runner-up came back and basically repeated his buyer, finishing, I think, 4th in the Amsterdam. So it's a legitimate number. He's just going to have to run a little better if he's going to upset the favorite, assuming that horse holds his form. The number 3 is Solitude Dude. He is a horse who faced off against Englishman in the Woody Stephens, actually tried to run with that horse early, and Solitude Dude certainly paid the price that day, beaten 20 lengths by Englishman in the Stephens, but came back last time in the Amsterdam, and much better pace scenario for him, much better competition, and much better result as he's able to battle down to the wire with local knowledge, and he comes out on the short end of the stick, but it was a nice rebound performance, a 103 buyer, the best of his career, and when you kind of isolate his dirt races, Mike, and forget about the performance against Englishman, he looks like one of the better dirt sprinters in the country right now. The problem is he's facing off against that nemesis once again.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's why I wanted to give him a little credit for the Amsterdam too, just because it did seem like even heading into the Woody Stephens that he was, right near the top as far as 3-year-old dirt sprinters goes. And obviously he just, he had no chance with Englishman, but he came back and confirmed that opinion last time. That was a good effort in the Amsterdam, the local prep for this race. He's got his work cut out for him again, but this horse is good, man. He's a little underrated too.
Up next is the 3 to 5 morning line favorite Englishman, and that price looks pretty deserved when you watch the replay of the race we're about to take a look at, the Woody Stephens, where, I mean, Mike, he looked like a winner of this race from a long way out. He was showing that easy speed, despite the fact that they were going blazing fractions, and as soon as Jose Ortiz just moved his hands a little bit, the turn of foot that he shows from about the quarter pole to the 3/16 pole was just electrifying. He put this field away in the blink of an eye. Yeah, he's shifting in a little bit as he does it, but who cares when he's showing the amount of stretch speed that he does here. Final time, 1:20.40, tying the long-standing track record at Saratoga. Of course, that's going to result in a gigantic Beyer speed figure, really any speed figures that you take a look at. He's had some time off since that race. I'm sure that Saratoga wanted to give him some time to recover from that huge effort. Is there any concern, Mike, that he is a bit of a one-number horse, as they say? Because that was nearly a 20-point Beyer improvement for him, but if he runs it back, obviously he's going to win this race.
I mean, I didn't look at him that way. I guess it's valid to bring up for a horse who's going to be the price he is, but that's not how I looked at it. If only because, all right, 97 and 95 for his first 2 wins, but you know, you can go back and watch the replays of those, just like we just showed you the Stevens. It looks exactly like that. He just absolutely crushed 2 fields without having to take a deep breath to do it. You know, to me, the thing that it probably doesn't matter in this race, but the thing that would worry me more about him, if I was trying to take a negative opinion on this horse at 3 to 5 or whatever he's going to be, is that, you know, when he lost 2 starts back, and I know it was going a mile, it wasn't sprinted, but when he lost 2 starts back, he was beaten fair and square in that race. It's not like he had an excuse in that race. He was second best in there. So there are horses out there that can beat him.
Yeah, I think one of the questions is that the development from that allowance win off the layoff to the Woody Stevens wasn't linear. He had that disappointing effort considering expectations, the Pate Mile. You know, Mike, thinking about it again, maybe it's possible that allowance win at Fairgrounds was so easy that he didn't get enough out of it for the task at hand in the Pate Mile. I mean, Cherie couldn't have foreseen that the pace was going to be as fast as it was, and it was going to be such a stiff challenge of his stamina that day. Maybe he wasn't quite fit enough, and he really benefited from that race. That's just one explanation for why he improved so much in the Woody Stevens last time. The number 5 is Local Knowledge, and I guess the advantage to him, Mike, is that at least he's drawn outside of Englishman, so there are less decisions to be made about whether or not to try to go, hold position, or take back and take kickback early, because John Velasquez is going to be able to just follow Englishman to the race, so maybe that's advantage to this horse. And he's never really run a bad race in his career. His debut at Keeneland was good, came off the layoff, was in that ultra tough allowance race that's really proven to be a key race, won by Butta. Let's take a look at his Amsterdam, the final prep for this. What do you think of his performance, Mike? Because obviously he's got to work pretty hard for this victory, but he was game to get the job done.
Yeah, this is a good performance, especially considering how lightly raced he was coming in here, second off the layoff as a 3-year-old, and then adding in the fact that, you know, we've already talked about Solitude Dude. He's a really good horse, and I think a good horse to take a line on Local Knowledge from, because Solitude Dude, he ranks right up there with the 3-year-old sprinters, and Local Knowledge, considering what he had working against him here, this is a quality win for this horse. And I think there's a lot of room for this horse to improve and to do some good things down the line. You know, I'm probably not betting this horse against Englishman in this spot, but I expect him to run pretty well in here.
I'm rounding out this field on the outside is another huge long shot, the number 6, Amberjack. This horse took 4 tries to break his maiden, finally did so at Delaware Park last time. Mike, this horse has a little bit of talent, but I wouldn't have thought that a grade 1 would be next on the agenda following that Delaware maiden win.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect. I wasn't expecting to see him in here either. He did run pretty well breaking his maiden last time, but this isn't the spot to bet him back.
Let's go to our picks for this first of the grade 1 races on Travers Saturday at Saratoga, the H. Allen Jerkens. And Mike, I don't think either one of us is going to get too creative here. We both put Englishman on top. This is a race that I'm glad they left out of the late pick 5 sequence, because I think a lot of people would be landing in the same spot here, and probably one I'll just watch.
It's just really, really hard to bet against. But I'm with you. Yeah, I definitely want to go over and see him and watch this race very closely just to see if he can come even close to backing up his Woody Stevens. I'm not going to have any money in against this horse, though.
4, 5, 2, 3 for me, and 4, 2, 5, 3 for Mike in the grade 1 H. Allen Jerkens on Travers Saturday. Good luck if you're playing the races this weekend.